My name is Emily from Rocky Mountain Sewing and Vacuum, and today I get the fun experience of unboxing a Pfaff Creative Icon. If you saw my last video where I unboxed the Tula Pink 570, then you might not recognize this space. Our company owner has given me an amazing opportunity to unbox at our event center, and behind me is the cameo of a unique sewing furniture she cave. So no cat this time, but you do get to see this fantastic furniture in action as I unbox this machine. So let's get started, and I'm going to start today with the machine. So these boxes are not light. This machine does weigh about 45 pounds. So if you need help getting it upstairs, I recommend baking some cookies for someone really strong. Of course, if you come to Rocky Mountain, we are always happy to put it into your car so you don't have to. So let's see what's on top here. Ooh, I just got a paper cut. Careful when opening these. So first, we have a dust cover to put over your icon anytime it's not in use. It actually is really nice, has magnets on the back here, and I can open it up. So it's a nice lined canvas. It does have a pocket on the back, a magnetic flap to go underneath your handle, and a magnetic flap to go over the whole thing for travel purposes. If you get our rolling tote that goes, or Pfaff's rolling tote that goes with it, this matches perfectly. Let's see, next, of course, you do have your short and sweet user's guide. The full manual is available built into the machine, which can be really nice because you have direct access to it right on your screen without having to pull out something. But this does have all of your basics, like how to thread your machine and troubleshooting. And of course, your warranty card. Rocky Mountain Sewing and Vacuum is a Pfaff licensed repair center, which means we do warranty work for your Pfaff machine. Here is also the full embroidery collection of all the designs that come on your machine, and there's even some special ones on there that use advanced techniques that we might get to later. But there's lots and lots of embroidery designs built into this machine. Of course, you have a power cord. Can't have a machine without a power cord. Wouldn't be much good then, would it? A knee lift. I personally use my knee lift all the time, which means I have to have a little stool underneath my desk because I have short little baby legs. Your foot pedal, and this foot pedal is really cool because the cord is retractable, which means no more wrapping your cord around your foot pedal and getting your power cord and your foot pedal cord tangled. And this is your bag of goodies. In here you can kind of see up these purple Icon bobbins. The Icon does have an exclusive class of bobbin from Pfaff. They are larger than the bobbins for what's called their J series, which includes their performance, expression, and older creative lines, as well as a single hole needle plate that you can use for either straight stitching or embroidery, so your fabric doesn't get bogged down ever. Let's see, well, that's the top layer. Nothing left. And now, the big part. Let me move some of this stuff, and I can put the machine up here into this fantastic hickory cabinet. Their cabinets do come with a wood insert so that you can have a flush sewing service. I'm taking it out because there is an embroidery unit that comes with this machine, and I want to have plenty of space. Okay, so that's it for the big box. Let's move that out of the way. So this is the machine, and I'm gonna take you on a little tour through it in just a bit once I've unpacked the embroidery unit. I'll get a close-up on this in a little bit, but this is the accessory tray. It's got a really nice inside that is color-coded to match the machine, and it's silicone, which means that your feet don't shuffle around as much. Now they still do, but they're nice and organized. So next we're gonna open up the embroidery unit, and then I can take you on a tour through the machine. So one thing that Pfaff does with their embroidery units that I think is really awesome, and I'm gonna be really careful opening this box. I don't want another paper cut, that hurts, is that they ship out their boxes, or their embroidery units, not just in a box of foam, but in the carrying case that it goes in, which is really awesome because then you know you have a way to transport your embroidery unit safely. So the Icon does have the biggest standard embroidery size of all Pfaff machines. This is the biggest hoop it comes with. It ends up being about 14 by 10, and in Pfaff language, that's 360 by 260. Pfaff does measure the hoops in millimeters. It does have the cool quick release lever that makes hooping a snap. And it's pretty big. I can wear it as a necklace. Not a great necklace, but a necklace. So next, so as you can see, Pfaff has this nice and strapped down for you. And in that little pocket there are hoop clips. What these are used for is that big hoop I just showed you. It is big, so sometimes it's good to clamp your fabric down on the edge of the hoop so it doesn't accidentally pop out or get too loose. Now, one thing I will recommend if you come down to Rocky Mountain and you get an Icon is actually to put a little piece of Velcro right here and a little piece of Velcro here, so you can strap your straps onto your case when you unpack, because as you can see, they do kind of fall in on each other and they can get reattached, which can be a little bit of a pain, but still not all that bad. So this is the embroidery unit, and I'm going to show you the back side of it real quick, because that little red tab, if you buy an Icon or any Pfaff machine, you want to remove that tab. It stops the embroidery arm from moving over too far. So if you don't take that out, you will run into an issue starting up and you'll hear a loud noise and it's not fun. So I'm gonna take that out right now. That's all. And then it can go in the trash. Okay, so you just slide that embroidery right on, and this machine is ready to go, but there's still more stuff in this embroidery case. You do get two other hoops with the Icon, as well as its largest one. You get a 260 by 200, which is about, I think it's about 8 by 10, give or take. It is as long as the biggest one is wide. And you get a 120 by 120. This is your 4x4 hoop almost. Nice, small, square, great for smaller projects, so you don't use as much stabilizer. And that's it. So one thing I did forget to mention, it does have a very nice pocket on the front. You can put your manual or your embroidery catalog in there, or any extra hoops you have. It does have a pocket on the inside. That was what that big hoop was stored in. So there's lots of places for you to put all of your embroidery stuff in there so you can keep it all together. So now let me plug this machine in and I'll take you on a little tour. Okay, so we've turned on this fantastic machine. It is getting set up. And once it's set up, you want to take this off. Okay, I finally got it off. I do not remember mine being that difficult, and yours probably won't be either. So, when you load it up, you see there's a start sewing, start embroidering, and load from My Sewnet. We'll go into My Sewnet in a minute, but let's start with the sewing side since it's on set up for sewing. So, the awesome thing about this is you can see your stitch in real size here. You have all your stitches easily available to you on a nice big touch screen, and you can change the size of your menu. I usually have mine about that big. I have this up here. Let me set this one up exactly like mine, because I can. Boop. So I usually have a nice long list on the side. I can still see my stitch here, and you have lots and lots of different categories to choose from. One of the coolest things about the icon, though, is it does have a whole technique section. These have exclusive ribbon stitches in single, double, and triple, which means you can kind of make braids that are stabilized. Stacking stitches, which have been on previous Pfaff machines, but there are some new ones, including my absolute favorite, which is this fish eating other fish. It's cute. You have new floating stitches. These are meant to float in the middle of a seam, so you get a repeating pattern without stitch lines connecting them. They're really cool. Radiant stitches, which you can stitch one at a time. They can go around a curve, they can go in a line. They have a whole lot of options. And lace edge stitching, so you can create your own edges on material. You just use water soluble stabilizer and rinse it away. You can stack these up, you can just have one, you can combine them, all sorts of stuff. The sewing side also has a sequence creator and a stitch creator, which means you can create your own stitches, which I've done for costumes before, and sequence them together so you can alternate various designs. In your options down here, you do have your tie-off settings, so you can have a tie-off at the beginning and have your thread cut automatically when you touch the back button, which I'm not pointing to, there it is, when you touch the back button. You also have free motion settings. The Pfaff Creative Icon will automatically drop your feed dogs, which is really nice. So you'll hear a click when I do this. That was the machine dropping its feed dogs. You do have to do a full rotation of the hand wheel for it to come back up, but that's a small price to pay for automatic feed dog drop, I think. That is most of the sewing side. You will also see up here it recommends your foot and IDT, what stitch it is, your current speed, and your speed control is on the side here. It's a physical speed control button again, which I personally think is really great. I like my physical speed control because it's much easier to switch in the middle of projects. So let's go over to the fun part of this machine, the embroidery. You can hit home, go over to start embroidering, and on the screen you'll see that it asks you to calibrate your arm. That's fine. Remember, at this point you should have taken out your little red thing so it'll calibrate. You hit OK, and there's your screen. Woohoo! You have stitch editing capabilities. You can tell it what hoop you're using. You can even change the background color of your hoop. So let's say you're embroidering on bright green fabric and you want to see what your design is going to look like on it. You can do that. You also have a whole lot of advanced techniques. You have shape creator, applique creator, sequence creator, and stitch creator again in your machine. I'm not going to go into these right now because I could spend 2 hours talking about them. In fact, there are going to be classes talking about all of these at the Littleton store very soon that I'm teaching. oops, my camera unfocused. So over here you have layers, colors, and all of your motifs. So all of these are available in that book that I showed you earlier, the embroidery catalog. And there's a whole lot of categories. My camera keeps going unfocused. There's a whole lot of categories. And there's so much in here that depending on what you do, you might not even need to buy designs for a long time. But there's also lettering in a whole bunch of different styles and fonts, as well as being able to bring in your stitches from sewing into embroidery, which means you can do things like doing construction in the hoop. You can do buttonholes in the hoop, you can do eyelets. I mean, the sky's the limit. You can start building stuff in the hoop without having to sew it if you're wanting something really precise and you know exactly how you want it to look and you're worried that you can't do it. There is also the cloud. So you can put designs in on a USB, but here's where My Sewnet comes in. My Sewnet is a very powerful tool that you have access to on the icon. So if I go back here, you can do load from My Sewnet, and this machine isn't connected to the internet, so there's nothing here yet. But there are designs available on My Sewnet through the My Sewnet blog, and if you install My Sewnet on your computer, then you have a folder directly from your computer to your machine. It is instant. My computer is about this far from my machine, and you can see some of the cool stuff I have over there for later. And I can, especially if I had this unique setup, this she cave setup, I could have my computer right here, pull up my design, scoot my chair over, and have it right here on my computer without having to use a USB or anything like that. It's really streamlined, really awesome. There's about 200 things I could go into on this machine, but I think that's a good overview of it. This machine is always available for purchase at Rocky Mountain Sewing and Vacuum, since we are a Pfaff dealer. And if you have any questions, I am the Pfaff teacher at Littleton. You can come talk to me, or you can come talk to any of our fantastic employees. They are all super knowledgeable and would love to talk to you about this icon. I almost forgot some really cool stuff. One is that this has a built-in vertical thread stand and 2 spools, which means you can have one for your main thread and one for your bobbin thread at all times. Plus, you can use bigger spools on this machine, like the large Floriani cones, without having to have a separate spool rack, because there's so much space here and a base that comes with it that makes it perfect. You can still do your spools like this, but they're actually meant to go up and down now because of the new tension system. I also almost forgot to do a little tour of the accessory tray. You can see it has this nice silicone inside. There is only one foot that has a very specific spot it goes, and that's the manual buttonhole foot. The rest of them can kind of fit wherever. You have space for bobbins in here, bigger feet like your embroidery and darning feet, and tons of space for lots and lots of feet, because Pfaff makes some awesome feet. So thank you for joining me for this fantastic unboxing of this amazing machine. If you want to know any more, I'm pretty sure I've said this, but come join us at Rocky Mountain Sewing and Vacuum. We would love to talk to you about this absolutely amazing machine. We are always having events with it, and if you're interested in it, let us know. We want you to be super curious about this machine because it is amazing. Thank you.